Here we have Latifa, Barbara, Latifa, Lou, Elena, VJ, Nancy, Jessica. Okay, we have, okay, excellent. So, all right, so let's do this really quickly and get to the program. So the time now is 9:21 p.m. This is our May 2020 business meeting. So at this time, this meeting is called to order. At this time, I will ask our recording secretary to please do the roll call. Latifa Lewis.
Trying to make my last bite. President VJ Ramjatan.
I'm here.
First Vice President Barbara Williams.
I'm here.
Second Vice President Ted Chang.
Here.
The Treasurer Lou Zhao.
I'm here.
Recording Secretary Latifa Lewis. I'm here. Member Nancy Lugacy.
Here.
Member Shaliza Dean.
Here.
Member Cassandra Alexander.
I'm back.
Member Rajwinder Kaur. Member Rajwinder Kaur. Member Elena Amanova.
I'm here.
Member Simone Donbar.
I'm here.
Member Rajwinder Kaur. Okay. That's everyone.
She's cooking. Okay. Excellent. Okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items on the calendar on the business agenda. The first one is adopting the council minutes, meeting minutes. Can we please share our screen? And let's get through this. This was sent out previously to all members to review, send feedback. So we have established at the last meeting that if they please send your feedback beforehand, not in in vivo here. So this should not be a problem. But thank you. This is January 6th meeting. Everyone's okay with these minutes?
BJ, I sent a revised, Nadeef and I exchanged, I sent around a revised version.
Yes, I
and
agree.
this is not, yeah, and I think you might have been on that email chain. This is not the revised version.
And Ted, you sent around a revised version and asked if I was okay with the changes, and I said I was not, because you wanted some additional details, and I explained in the responses that what you wanted. If you can scroll further down if you can scroll down, Dorinda. So in the public comment, whoops, go back up.
That's not this. That's not this meeting. I think you're talking about the March meeting.
Right.
This is the January meeting.
What other revisions were on here? Dorinda has what should have had up whatever was the final version.
The January minutes. There's this version basically doesn't have anything for the business meeting. It's kind of, the business meeting is basically empty. And so
right. And okay, and yes, and we responded that okay, based on the feedback that we had from BB and so forth, that the business meeting, even if we have a lot of discussion, since the minutes are not a verbatim representation of the meeting, but action items. So there may be things that you felt needed to be on there, but were not considered action items. So they are not documented as those bullet points. So
okay, just to move forward, what we can do, thank you, Latifa. Ted, do you mind sending out an email about exactly what you think needs to be here? Let's go back and forth, right? So
no, but VJ, he sent it, and I already responded exactly what I'm saying with it in the meeting, because it was a request, since I have to sign off revision on the final notice if I was okay with it, and I said no, I was not.
okay.
Well,
So there's nothing to send back up.
I think what we should do now, because Natifa doesn't agree with my perspective on it, but basically, the minutes require a vote by the council. So it's okay that Natifa wants to keep the minutes the way they are, but it requires the whole council to decide what minutes we're going to approve. And so and just to briefly explain to everyone what the issue is, we held votes during the business meeting. You can't do minutes and then not describe the votes. And you can't do minutes and not describe points of order. There's a sort of a set of things that you're required to describe in the minutes.
I'm
And the
sorry,
thing,
look,
Let him
sorry,
finish.
why don't-
Sorry,
why don't I
let him
finish?
finish so that he will speak after me. Okay, let's get back to the rules going again. If you want to speak, just please ask and recognize everybody. Thank you so much.
So basically, like in our bylaws, we follow, everything in the bylaws. Whatever's not covered in the bylaws is according to Robert's rules. Robert's rules has some very specific, a description of how you write minutes. But basically, like you have to describe any votes that are taken. You have to describe points of order. And so
Thank you, Ted.
none of that is here. So I think that's why
Okay.
we need to have a different set of minutes.
Thank you. Latifa, you're gonna reply, then we're gonna move forward. Latifa?
so these were addressed in the previous meeting, that we will send anything by email, have that discussion and come ready to vote today. There was a
Right.
back and forth chain with Ted with some of the things that he wanted included there. The vote that related to the resolution was on the public comment portion. These were all sent out. And I indicated the things, on whichever minutes that I objected to and which I did not. Ted constantly refers to Robert's rules, which governs, yes, the basis of everything from parliamentary things or whatnot. But our particular council and the rules that goes to a lot of things are governed by our bylaws, which are based on Robert's rules, but specifically adapted for the council. And in there, I went and I reread all of the rules. And as it says, when it comes to minutes, I, as the recording secretary, because we had that election at the first meeting, okay, the administrative assistant takes those notes. I do review if I have any things. After that, we send the draft out to the members. There doesn't need to be any sharing of recording, etc. with the meetings. At that point in time, the minutes go out as I have approved them. We put it to the motion. If anyone has changes that they want to suggest with amendments, we vote on that. But there is no need for all of this back and forth. Honestly, it is exceedingly frustrating. If
Okay.
Ted
Thank
would
you,
like to be the
Latifa.
secretary for the next time, please volunteer for that.
Thank you, Latifa. Barbara, let me move on. Barbara?
Do we understand this is May? This is January's minute. We already went through this. It was sent out in advance. If there was any changes to be made, it should have been done. We shouldn't be going on about this tonight. And I'm basically tired of it. Enough is enough now.
Can we move to a vote? Bibi, is there a vote in order for approving of the minutes? Bibi?
So councils don't vote on minutes. So you put the minutes on the floor and you adopt your minutes, right? And so if council wants to submit corrections, or you're accepting minutes with corrections, then you accept with corrections and you make the corrections, but you all
What
have
if we
to
don't?
stop your minutes. Then what do you mean if you don't?
What if we say, well, we don't want to adopt those corrections? I'm just saying based on what Latifa is saying. Like if so, let's say everyone is sending a lot of corrections and, well, no, it's enough. Like Barbara is saying, right? Like this is what it is. Here it is. We have a recording of the meeting also that's on our page, a full recording of it. This is just the minutes. Can we guess how do we get past this?
Okay, so I missed the first part. What's in question? The business meeting?
Ted?
So the minutes that are as currently drafted and circulated by the recording secretary basically leave the business meeting completely blank. And in this business meeting, we held a number of votes. There were a number of points of order, and according to our bylaws, yes, the recording secretary does, nominally issue the draft minutes, but obviously the council votes on the minute, or not, doesn't necessarily have to vote on the minutes, but the council approves the minutes. But our bylaws, anything not covered in the bylaws are addressed under Robert's rules, and under Robert's rules, motions have to be in the minutes. points of order have to be in the minutes. And this is essentially a blank minutes for the business meeting.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you for the context and the background, because I think I was a bit confused earlier when the minutes came up. So yes, in this case, you're absolutely correct, right? Because we're taking verbatim to the extreme here. It's a business meeting, so it's the council's working meeting. And in the working meeting, you discuss topics of concern or decision-making that you may not vote on in the business meeting, but it still needs to be noted, right? So I can certainly circulate some samples of minutes from other councils that they have used in past, and you can use that to formulate your own. But in the business meeting minutes, you should at least capture what the council is working on, not verbatim, and not who said and names, but you can say we've discussed these topics and came to these decisions, and they'll be presented at the next meeting.
Thank you, Bibi.
But definitely we'll share a template for your reference.
Okay, so I would like to move this discussion offline now. So we will definitely take this offline, and we have to move to our next agenda item. So Ted, please send your grievances or your concerns about the minutes to the whole team, including myself, and you can CC Bibi and Latifa, and then we'll bring this back again next month. Ted, are you willing to make compromise to meet us where we have to be to get this minutes approved and move forward?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to follow procedure, but I'm happy to send it out to everybody. Sure, no problem.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna move to our next item now. So any other minutes to approve? Dorinda? Latifa, is your hands up for the same topic? Or
March.
I want to move on, right? So can you make it quick, please?
Yes, and I'm saying all of this was done already, so why wasn't it in there? And to Bibi's point about the template, Bibi, this is based on your template and what we have discussed, because the items
Understood.
that were discussed in this meeting were in there. And I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, but I refuse to go back to these minutes.
Right, so
I do.
Okay. So I think let's just move this discussion offline so we can just get to the next step, and we can have a talk about this via discussions, and we can move to the next step. So next up, Dorinda, are there any more minutes to be approved?
Yes, we have March and April. I have March up on the screen.
Can you please scroll from the top down, please? Or is that all? March? Is that all here?
This is still saying January. You may need to reshare if you only share the document.
Okay, one sec.
Thank you. Latifa, I'm just lowering your hand, right? It's still up.
Is March up now, Latifa?
There it is. It says March now. Yes, thank you. Again, I want to remind everyone, these were sent out already.
So again, I want to approve the minutes, but with one change. In the first paragraph of public comment, the first line of that is a little bit misleading, and again, this is something that Latifa and I discussed over email, and we just couldn't agree. So just so everyone knows, you don't have to vote on minutes. You can just approve the minutes. That's usually because minutes are unanimous, but when minutes aren't unanimous, then you can call for a vote, because obviously it has to get resolved somehow. So just so
Ted, please don't school us. I said this before that we will talk about this offline. So just take.
No, I'm agreeing.
Ted, excuse me, please. Ted, excuse me, please. I'm asking you to state what your concern is about the minutes here now, and then we move to the next step. That's what I'm asking to do. What are the
so we can approve. So I support approving these minutes with one change, and the one change would be to strike the first sentence under public comment. Because
to say what? To say what?
Just to strike that first sentence, because the first sentence there makes it seem as if parents only spoke in favor of keeping the high school admissions process as under the old system. And at that meeting, we clearly had parents on both sides of the issue. So I think it would be more accurate to just strike that first sentence, but I
this
support
is a
approving the
student-
minutes.
Okay,
Sorry,
With
this
that
is-
one
sorry,
change.
Sorry, please ask to be recognized because we have all the hands up, please also. Just raise your hand. There's a raise hand feature, folks, so we can do this, right? So I saw Latifa hand is up and then we have Elena, then we move on.
As indicated, this was sent via email, and when Ted made the same comment, I responded via email as well, that I included the first statement because I recognize 3 of the constituent groups. We had middle school students. We want to always give notice to school voices. We had CCHS representatives, and this was on high school admissions. So they are the elected or elected counterparts for high school. So which is why I singled out those 2. And then I mentioned there were other parents who spoke in favor of keeping the high school process because that was done. My second bullet, which was a generic one, indicated that various parents and community representatives spoke both in favor and against, which goes to that balance. I put the 2 bullets because I felt as the recording secretary, putting forward the minutes, that it was important to highlight the 2 groups and where their stances were, while also recognizing that the community was also split on the part. And I responded to this. I responded via email to this. Ted did not follow up at that point, so I feel it's a moot point at this point. That's the reason we said we were sending this out so that when we came here,
Correct.
it is just to pass the motion. And so again, I reject his request to remove that bullet. If you are giving me a job, because I do invest time into it, I'm not going to do the same job for 5 times because someone needs their ego appeased.
Thank you, Latifa. Elena. Is your hand down or thumbs up?
It's down now. I agree with Natifa.
Okay, so again, we want to confirm, Latifa, can you please, under bylaws committee, can we please just double check with our bylaws, what we can do, what we cannot do in terms of how to move forward with this, and we can continue. Can you please give us?
I already did, and that is why I'm stating that it went to.
I understand, but I'm asking you again, I want to move forward to the next agenda at this point. Next month's agenda, please. Okay, this is April 7th, this is last month. Okay, scroll down, please. This again was sent out prior to this meeting, well in advance. So, any objections to these minutes? Anyone? Can we just move to adopt? Any
Don't object.
Going once?
Are you
Twice?
purposely ignoring me, VJ, or you don't see my hands up?
No, so, oh, sorry, there you are. Barbara, go ahead. I didn't see your hand up. Sorry about that.
So January and March minutes, there was no motion to put those back on the table or table those for next meeting. They just went by. What are we doing with those?
We have to figure out what is the next step in terms of our bylaws. And I think Latifa explained that process already. I just don't want this to become a fight this here right now, to become a back and forth between Ted and Latifa. This meeting is not about Ted and Latifa. She's a recording secretary and she has authority in her role. I think Ted also has strong points, but I don't want this to become an 11 o'clock meeting between Ted and Latifa of what is right, what is wrong. Rather, we do this, we do this separately. And then come with
We can't just flip them by and just,
Right.
these are being since January, and we
I
spoke
agree.
about it. They were sent out in advance, and if there was changes to be made, they should have been done before tonight. So we can't just flip them by, and keep going through. We have to
Right.
approve these minutes or put them back for next month again, and we go over it again.
So that's what I'm concerned about. Bibi, is there a process that we can say if majority of council members tonight on this call say, okay, we want to let's move to adopt these minutes. And move forward with them, because I think the recording secretary has done her due diligence in terms of spending a lot of time listening to feedback for months, giving feedback, and she has given very fair explanations about to why she chose a language and she did what she did in the minutes. And in capturing, this is how she was elected to do this duty. So we elected her to serve in this role. So I feel like there's some kind of like we have to honor something here. I mean, I don't think she did anything like leaving things out, but when there's a point of disagreement, Bibi, is there a way for the council right now to say, okay, listen, let's just get it over with, let's approve these minutes and move forward?
Which ones you talking about?
January and March.
Is January up on the screen?
No, this is April. So everyone, let me just finish here. So we go with April minutes, everyone. Anyone object? Going once, going twice. Okay, so April minutes is great. Thank you so much. We move forward. Next is January. Can you please bring up January meeting minutes, please? Barbara, thank you for your point. I hear you loud and clear. Thank you, Dorinda. I know you're switching back to different things. I appreciate your time doing this. So here is the January meeting. Ted, what is it exactly you want it to be said in this minutes here? Where and where? What is it exactly you want you are saying should be in the minutes? Can you please tell us here?
Well, basically, the business meeting was not described at all. It was just left blank. And minutes, you can't leave the minutes blank, in particular when you hold votes. So we held several votes in that meeting, and we also had points of order. And those are all things that in Robert's Rules of Order, you're supposed to describe in the minutes. So I think you're not required to hold a vote, but since there is disagreement, we probably should hold a vote. And I think the best thing to do would be for people to see the alternative minutes that I drafted, simply because it was left blank. And so essentially the procedure that takes place when there is disagreement on minutes is you can make your suggested changes and call for a vote on the changes. So that would be the next step, in my opinion.
So basically everything else is okay on this minutes. It's just the business meeting part. So now, do you have a draft of what you want to go in the business meeting part?
Yes, that's what I sent around before. I think you were on the email chain, but you probably don't remember. I could show that, yes.
Can you please share your screen really quickly?
Okay, let me pull it up. Hold on.
I have an option to object.
Yeah, one second, Latifa. I saw your hand raised and I'll call on you, please. You see, one of my roles here as the president of this council is to bring some order, but also to move things along and to find compromise and to find a place where we can move. I agree with Barbara Williams. It's been since January, right? And we have been holding back and forth. And I think there's some room for us to move forward. So I am asking all council members here tonight to put our compromise hat on and let's find a middle ground and let's move forward. We have always been excellent at doing that. And I know we can do that here as well. Ted, I'm asking you to put that hat on. And Tifa, I'm asking.
Can someone
do
make
that.
can someone make my PC account a co-host so I can share my screen?
Thank you. And again, this is for the council business. We can move on, right, folks? Remember, we have a recording of the entire meeting up on our website, and anyone can listen exactly what they want to listen and hear for themselves. So once versions of interpreting the minutes, Ted, if it doesn't match your wording, doesn't mean it's wrong. Just bring that in, make sure that comes up there. So this is the, can you make it a little larger? I have to make it larger on my end. Let's see here. Okay. Can you only copy and put on a blank page your, where is the, let's see here. Where's your minutes for your addition you said you want to add for the business meeting? I'll make it larger on my end here. That's what it is. Thank you, Ted. Zoom options. There it is. I got it. Okay. So I'm seeing here, Ted, can you just put your pointer to what you want to see on the minutes for January?
Okay, so basically the big changes are like here, she had there was listed a resolution vote that did not take place. So that has to be deleted.
Okay.
That's like something left over from a prior month. So that didn't take place at this meeting. So that has to be deleted. Then,
so is that right? Is that right now on the current version?
That is on the version that Dorinda just presented to the meeting. Yes.
Okay, so
But that did
pause
not
right
take
there.
place.
Oh, okay, pause right there. Does anyone object to that action that Ted has said there? Going once? Going-
Natif has her hand up.
Pardon me?
Natifa has her hand up, Vijay.
Yes, but I'm asking about this specific point here. Does anyone disagree with this specific point here, that this here should not be on the minutes?
I do.
Sorry,
I disagree.
you disagree. Okay, why?
I disagree because, as I said, I went back through here and I felt a little bit thrown under the bus because I went over the things with BB and we agreed on a process. If in school a kid does not do their homework, you don't just get to redo the entire assignment. We were given homework to go out and flesh out all of this under there. Ted was asked to point out points, not create an entire new document. We already had this issue before. All right, this was sent out. If this was not resolved in the email, it should not come back here at this point in time. It was sent
Okay.
to all the other members. They were fine with the part that's on there. He
Okay.
has very specific things related to his motions. And you indicate your role as president to, to keep order, to do all of these things. I am also citing my role because we are not a dictatorship. We are a council of 11 members, 9 elected, 2 appointed. At our first meeting, we set up pretty much a board. We have, each person has a role, president, treasurer, secretary, or whatnot. In my role as secretary, I'm being asked to be given my right to perform my role as secretary, and I feel that that is being undermined, and I have a huge problem with that.
Okay, what do you suggest we do to move forward? I want to hear your idea.
I suggest that we put the part to be adopted as is. And again, in my role as secretary, if the rest of the membership is okay with it, it can be noted in this month's minute that Ted Chang was in opposition to the minutes, but we move on. If the rest of the council is okay to adopt it, we move on.
Thank you.
Because he did not do his homework.
Thank you. Ted, can you please scroll down to the business meeting part that you said you want to see in the business meeting? So this is a verbatim discussion of what happened in the business meeting.
Yeah, this was my best effort to, describe everything that happened. It's not verbatim, but what in Robert's rules, what you're supposed to, what you're required to record in the minutes are motions and any votes that take place on the motions,
Okay.
as well as any points of order related to those motions. And so I just laid it out as succinctly as possible, but we had a number of votes. I don't know if you remember this meeting, but this is like,
Yes, thank you. I see it right here. So let's move forward now. Thank you, Ted. That's you showed it here to us. Thank you. Can you stop sharing for a second, please?
Sure.
Okay, I just want to get consensus. We're not voting. I want to get consensus with all the members here. I want to call on you to tell us how do you feel about us putting this back to the burner to think about it, or should we move forward with these? Just get a consensus, and then we could definitely have an idea what all the council members are feeling also. But Ted, Barbara Williams, what do you think?
Unfortunately, VJ, I couldn't see anything. It was too small for me to read. And I couldn't see it, so I can't agree.
You say what? You can't agree or you agree?
I cannot agree as I could not read what was said in the bottom. It was too small for me. I couldn't read it. It's in red and I can't see it, to be honest.
So you're saying that you just want to make sure I understand. Are you agreeing that we should just move forward and adopt the minutes, or just we should not adopt the minutes?
Ted
Wait.
is within his right to put what is to be put in the business meeting, because as he said, there was nothing mentioned about the business meeting, and if there were votes, it was needed to be in the business meeting. At this point, I think we should table this again,
Okay.
if everyone agrees. If no
Well,
one
that's what I'm
agrees, I think this January minute we've been going on for 5 months should be tabled again, and this time when we come back, we adopt it as it was sent out days
you.
or weeks in advance. Okay.
Barbara. Next, Ted Chang, what are your thoughts?
I'm willing to reshare my screen with bigger font if that would help.
No, we're tabling or we're moving forward. That's all.
I'm okay with
Follow with
postponing.
tabling.
I'm okay with postponing so that
Thank
we
you.
can send this over email.
No explanation. Just tell us, please. Yes, I want to move forward, folks. I'm not gonna be here all night. I'm sorry. Okay, next person is Natifa Lewis. Natifa, what are your thoughts?
As I said, categorically feel that my role as secretary is being undermined, because I can go back and share all my very detailed minutes from September leading up to now.
Table or
I
move
followed
forward?
what was said. I want to adopt it and move forward, because I will excuse myself from any tabled version of it.
Okay, thank you. Next we have is Lou Zhao. What are your thoughts?
I agree to just move forward. I think it's too much effort in too little detail. That doesn't really make sense.
Thank you. Next we have is Nancy Lugasi. What are your thoughts? Nancy?
We need to move forward from this. We need to move forward.
Thank you. Next we have is Rajwinder Kaur. Move forward or table? Move forward. Next we have is Cassandra Alexander. Move forward or table the minutes?
Move forward.
Next we have is Shaliza Dean. Move forward, table minutes.
Move forward.
And Shaliza Dean, that was Elena Amenova. Move forward, table minutes.
Move forward, please.
Simone Dornbach.
Move forward. However, what I would like to request is that we talk about how in the future it can be improved so that the business meeting is better reflected than in those particular minutes. But I would like to move forward, and I also want to tell you, Natifa, that I appreciate the work you're putting in, because it is a lot of work, and I think that we all appreciate the work you're bringing here. And so, but having a conversation about how the minutes could look like in the future would maybe be good to avoid a situation like that again. But for now, I think we need to move forward.
Thank you. I also agree with moving forward. I think a lot of effort went into this, a lot of emails went back and forth. I think the recording secretary has also justified her actions, her thoughts, and why she felt the way she felt. I think we should definitely move forward now with this improved knowledge, and then how can we build going forward? Like now going forward, include these things going forward. Ted Chang and Barbara, both of you said we should table. What are your thoughts about having heard the rest of the council members agreeing to move forward? What are your thoughts? Barbara?
Majority rules, and I will go with my council members.
Ted Chang?
I think we should just hold a vote, and just people should decide which version of the minutes they want to vote for. Simple. So hold the vote, because obviously it's controversial.
Okay, council members, is everyone okay with me doing a vote? Going once?
As I said, I am not, because it's not about version. The only two people who are supposed to be creating meetings are the only two people who are supposed to be writing minutes are the administrative assistant and the secretary. Everybody else is supposed to bring their points that they need things. That's not what Ted did. So if he did his homework the way it's supposed to be, I'll accept that. That's not what he did. So at this point, as I said, I committed to moving on from this for today. But this is the last time I personally would do it. Whatever the council decides to do at that point, I will excuse myself from it in any. I categorically object to Ted, who is not the secretary. I haven't missed a meeting. So he's not acting on my behalf because I'm not there, submitting a version of the minutes. He can send amendments to me, which is what we agreed, but I will not participate in a vote of his versus, that's not what this is about. Okay, I'm not going to go and sign loose checks. I'm not going to take your role as president, take mine as secretary.
Okay, so we have two sides and we have to honor all members' opinions. At this point, we're gonna table the minutes and let's go back here and we'll talk about this offline for January minutes. And January and March minutes. Thank you. Can you, I'm muting your mic, Cassandra, sorry. Unless you want to say something, but your mic was on, sorry. Committee review and updates. Are there any committee review and updates? Going once, going twice. I know you spoke about something in the report, I think. Okay, so Lou raised his hand first and you after. Go ahead, Lou.
I just want to say one more time. I think we have went around and everybody, I mean, most people agree to move forward. We should move forward. I mean, if the rule says, the secretary decide, then that's it. I don't think there's a need for a vote. We practically already voted. I mean, that's it. I don't think we should come back to, one more time. It just create too much.
We actually moved on, Lou, we moved on from that topic, sorry. We're talking about.
But you said table it, so I thought, I got a little bit confusion.
Yeah, so it's done. We
will adopt that.
We're gonna January and March meeting and minutes. We're gonna revisit that. I will have a talk with the secretary and with Ted and find out some ways how we can resolve this together with some guidance. I don't have the answer here. We should figure out here what the answers are to go forward here. But we're gonna move on. Committee review and updates. That's the next item on the agenda right now. Simone, you had your hands up, and then Latifa.
Can Barbara and I speak together? So Barbara and I, we spoke on the phone, and we would like to find.
Someone's microphone is on. Sorry, somebody's TV's on. Is the background? Is it me?
Maybe. Yeah.
It's okay. Go ahead. That's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's okay.
It's okay. It was Cynthia's mic, and I muted her.
So Barbara and I, we wanted to find a date when we can get together and have a public committee meeting for the resolutions committee. And ideally it should be in this month before June 8th.
Do you have suggestions for dates? Did you come with any suggestions?
Should we just send out a doodle poll? How do you usually go about this? I don't have any suggestion.
The only thing I'm thinking about is when we're going to be having the C37 thing also soon.
Yeah.
It might be a conflict with if we choose a date now prematurely, and then so if it can be a date besides a Wednesday, might be good. Because we have all the days for C37 are like planned out already for this month. What are your thoughts about that? You want to Wednesdays?
Particularly didn't choose a date because of that. So we was waiting until we choose those town hall dates.
Okay, great.
We come up with a date.
Yeah.
Is that fair for everybody to do? Yeah. Okay. Simone and Barbara, are you okay with that? Like, let's get that.
I'm okay.
We'll do it after.
I'm fine.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you all for doing that work behind the scenes to get us organized and prepared. Thank you so much. And Latifa.
I just felt that you made a unilateral decision when the council decided on something. And as I said, I am going to put it for the record. I am not addressing anything related to those 2 minutes after this meeting. No, I am not open to meeting. I am not open to anything.
Thank you. Lu Zhao?
I'm just curious, for the resolution committee meeting, what we are going to talk about on that meeting? On particular resolution or on the rule of the resolution?
No, we're gonna talk about etiquette and what rules and what we need to put together for the committee at this point.
Okay, so basically the bylaw of the resolution committee, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, how to go forward together as
Yes.
a council.
Still in planning phases, planning stages.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. But definitely if you have a resolution, I mean, you plan to have a resolution, anyone else of you, that can be our first, our first experiment. That'll get things going faster, right? The group going, so we can definitely try to use that as our first experiment in some way. Next, okay, so that's.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Simone. Next, we have D28 G&T plan discussion. Okay, when we met with the Chancellor on March 15th at his office in Tweed, we were explaining to him about G&T, what it looks like in our district. Latifa, Barbara was there, Rajendra was there, I was there. Did I miss somebody who was there also? Lou was there. Me, Shaliza was there next to me, of course, yes. And he had asked us, like, hey, do you have ideas of what G&T looks for your district? Because we expressed how like the southern part of the district doesn't have any like G&T programs. However, it's concentrated at one direction of the district. He suggested to us to go back to your drawing table and come up with a plan from your district. What do you think G&T looks like for your district? If a plan is, there's a plan for the future, and put that going forward. Like, bring it and submit it to them. Other councils across the city has done this also, to submit their version of G&T or accelerated learning or whatever we want to call it, but we will decide that. Wanted to hear, Nancy, I see your hands up, I'll call you. And and also for the future, like what we can do is start this plan, but also do this plan together in collaboration with the district office, Dr. Pate, President's Council, get all stakeholders involved, like at this level first, before we bring in community input, etc., and come up with a plan. Those who were in that meeting that day can speak of this. Can I add something that I missed out? But also, but what are your thoughts about us council drafting, coming up with a plan or doing this? Nancy, go for it. Nancy? Okay, I don't think she's here anymore. Okay, so those who were there that day at the meeting, what are your thoughts? Luza, go ahead, please.
Yes. Yeah, I have given a lot of thought about that. But because the new G&T plan come out, so I kind of want to wait a little bit, see how the new plan is. So I think there's a few things we can add on to, if they already have basically set up, and there's probably not going to be too much value to repeat, but we should contribute at some point that more than what has been presented by the DOE for the new plan. I'm not sure today we're gonna go into detail, or we just kind of like a very quick touch up or something like that, because we will go to detail, they're probably gonna take a lot of time.
Yeah, we did the ideas. The goal is not to go in detail, but to have an idea of how the council feels about this. Do we want to invest time and energy in a plan with working with the district office to come up with a plan on this? So that is what we want to do. Do we want to move the next step is to have a meeting with Dr. Pate, President's Council, Jessica Zillow, and on the CEC, and let's hear what everyone's ideas are about this plan? Like, is that the next step? What are your thoughts? Others? Lou, you can also add. If you
yeah, I think I mean, it's some. I mean, if we really come up with a plan that, like kind of a meaningful, I think we probably need kind of like a town hall version. It's like quite a lot of time and listen to parents, all that whole nine yards. And the other side, I do want to raise a point, because I don't think we spent too much time today, but I do want to raise a point that in the past, when we discuss those, controversial issues, right? So when we vote, like some people vote no, some people vote yes, but I hope everybody vote. Before they vote, they can give a explanation of their thought. I think some people talk a lot. We know, how some people think very clearly and in detail, but for some member on the council, we don't know what their details, like why they vote this way, right? Why they for, why they against it. So this is something I think is very important. I think, like, for example, Barbara has expressed her view that she has reservation with the previous version of the GNT. In the meeting with the mayor, I think Barbara, expand a little bit on that. I think that was very, inspiring. So that actually gave me a lot of thought. So I actually wanted, we have a chance we can talk about something. We can, we can add on to it.
I don't think this is a
again,
meeting
a lot of people haven't talked about this, so that's very important.
So this is not a meeting today to discuss everyone's ideas on GNT itself. Today,
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm saying that we need to have a meeting that give
Okay, good.
everybody
Thank you.
a chance to
Good.
talk, because a lot of people haven't been talking.
Okay, thank you. Simone?
I don't think that right now we should get involved. I agree with Luz that we first should wait what's happening. I also don't think that the DOE really cares about engaging parents, because parents were engaged last year. The PEP voted down the Pearson contract. It was very clear that parents don't want the current GNT program. There was the brilliant NYC town halls, like there was a lot of time wasted, and nothing, absolutely nothing was taken from the new administration into consideration. So I personally don't want to invest my time in this. I rather want to see what they come up with. And then if there needs to be something adjusted, I'm happy to give my opinion on it, but I really don't want to put any energy into this, because I don't feel that my opinion will be valued. That's really, and I think there are other topics that deserve our attention, like special ed, which has been really suffered heavily under the current pandemic, and there are so many families concerned. I would like us, the CEC, enter that conversation. How can we be helpful? How can we elevate that topic? And also that the providers have not been paid. So those things I think are right now more important than spending time with something that is already decided.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? I'll take 1 or 2 comments more so we can move forward. Anything else about how should we organize a meeting with Dr. Payton team about this, or should we just leave it alone, table it for now? What anyone else thoughts? So far we've heard 2 people saying table it, not important, right? Well, not right now.
I also agree with Simone and Lou. We should wait. We can't, it already came out. We can't mess with something that's already there. So we have to just wait and see how it plays out. Everyone know how I feel about the current GNT program as it is. So we should just wait a little bit and see, what goes on, because I don't think they really care what our opinion is.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Going once, going twice.
Table it for another time.
Table it for another time. Okay, so far we have the majority, so everyone who spoke so far. So we just gonna put this down for now. We're not gonna bring it back on our agenda for now. The council does not seem to be interested in right now at this point in discussing a GNT plan for the district. If it comes back again in the future, we can revisit again if any of you bring it back up again. Moving on, end of year celebrations. So customarily, councils will host an end of year celebration at the end of the school year, where we invite different schools. The council will host this. We put money aside for that, and we'll invite different schools to come perform, and we have a little celebration. There are two options, but of course we can hear more options and ideas on this topic. We can wait till the end of the 2-year cycle of our cycle here and then do one next year. Or we can plan one for the end of this year. A couple of things to think about is the rising numbers of COVID. A lot of schools don't have capacity, don't have bands up, don't have programs up where they have performances. What does others people think about this, the end of year celebration? What are your thoughts about this stuff, about this idea? And Latifa Lewis.
I think we should have one this year, even if we have to keep it somewhat scaled. We do not know what next year will hold, and we already had 2 very strange years. And I have been at a couple of celebrations, where schools started doing that. They just observed. In some cases, what they decided is like, if they did provide any food, it was just wrap things that you take with there, so that minimize that piece of it. Because they have reduced, I guess, some of the requirements in terms of, quarantine and social distancing. So I think it would be nice. It has been 2 years since many of these students have had these opportunities. So I'm all for having something this year. I think do now, do not put off for tomorrow.
So any other ideas? So again, the last time we did, when I was part of a long time council, right? The last time we held a end of year celebration. It was beautiful, really nice. It was at a school auditorium. Various schools came. The kids were so happy when they performed and gave their poems and provide a piece. So what this will entail is we have to choose a school. Make that we decide now. We'll create a little committee also to plan this, like we did for the breakfast, for example. And we'll have to discuss food, like what we have to provide the food for who come, right? And then which schools we will ask to perform. We can't invite everybody to perform. So this is something to think about where as we hear other comments. Anyone else has any ideas or comments about this? End of year celebration. Hand is still up, and I see Lou hand is up. Cassandra, I saw your hand. Actually, I heard something, but I think you want to speak. I'll call Lou and then you. Lou?
I just want a little bit clarity. So who are we gonna invite? And I mean, in what kind of capacity, basically?
So usually again, this is how it has been done. So maybe it can be done differently, but this is how I know it's been done before, the one I was part of with the last council. It was where you will invite like various schools in the district. Like some school did the school's dance program, did a performance. One school did a poem. One school did an art exhibit of their wall. It was beautiful. Like it's very like the kids get to shine. So it's about the kids from various schools, and of course there's some kind of thinking about which school where, balancing the district, make sure we have enough people, different like across the district is represented, for example. Yeah, it's like that kind of thing. Yeah.
But who would be the audience? I mean, I understand.
Oh, the public, yeah, the schools. The school, it'll be open to all. Actually, we'll invite everybody. Actually, it's invited to. So usually they had a big, huge auditorium that we used, and it usually all the schools show up, principals, and the whole district is invited, literally.
Okay.
Yeah, so food is important. So if you think about this, I know the last AA, the previous AA, she had ordered food from the door on us, but of course by us down here in Latifa, and that was good food. The food went in 2 minutes, but it was good food. But we have to order food. Maybe we could think about not ordering food, but I don't know. Cassandra.
Oh, I was gonna ask you, what school did you, I know you said it was a while ago, what school agreed to you guys hosting the event there? How does that work?
Yeah, so we have to reach out to it was a school more on the southern side of the district down here. One of these, I think it was 72. I don't quote me. I think it was 72, but we could choose any school that we think has a large enough auditorium that could host people, has a nice stage, a sound system, that kind of thing, you know. But now the world has changed with the pandemic, so we have to get like a nice good size space too. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then the school will agree to host us, to let
Right.
us host the end of year celebration at their school, for example.
Oh, got it.
So there's
I
work
think we should
involved.
go for it. I think we should go for it. It's been a very depressing 2 years for most people with this COVID, and a lot of kids are not you know, they're not gonna have a ceremony, or they're not given the option to be able to be in their schoolyard to have their ceremony. I have 2 graduations. One can have a graduation in the schoolyard, the other one is iffy up in the air. So I think this would be an opportunity for kids in the district to be able to socialize, you know, mask up or whatever we need to do to make it happen.
Okay, so we have 2 yeses, 3. Lou, was you a yes or were you a question?
Yeah, I think we can do it. That's great. I know Jose had their graduations, you know, in a rented place, not in their own school. So I guess because they're maybe they think it's too small or something, but they are holding it somewhere else.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had like 3 people said like they felt that we should move forward with this. Okay, does anyone else want to say something? Because I want to move. So let's raise your hand, or let's say thumbs up, or show something on the screen so we know what your thoughts are, so we can move forward. Okay, we have 1, 2. Okay, so the majority said yes. Okay, now who want to be part of the committee to plan this? Committee members, let's go. Committee to plan to start the discussion planning of the end of year school celebration. Is that hands up to say yes, or hands up saying I want to talk? Thumbs up. I'm seeing thumbs up. Cassandra, yes. Awesome.
Yes.
Natifa, is that your hands up saying yes, or like yes? Elena, is that yes? Thumbs up to do
Oh, I
people?
love party planning.
And then we have Simone. Is that a hands up to say yes? Okay, wonderful. And Rajwinda too. 5. Beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course, I will be part of that committee also. Beautiful. Can we have a committee, a planning committee point person? Who wants to be the point person for this? Cassandra, hand is up.
Barbara. Oh, I will.
Beautiful. So we have you and Elena, both hands are up. So both of you will co-lead this initiative. Okay, beautiful. So, okay, so that means Cassandra and Elena are going to be sending this committee a little email saying, hey, folks, we're going to meet this date, start a little group thing so we can start planning. It has to happen now. We don't have time. So let's meet ASAP. And this was Rajwinder, it was Elena, it was Natifa, it was myself, Cassandra, Simone, right, who agreed. And
Does anyone else want to co-chair? My hand was up from before. I didn't.
Okay, no, Cassandra says she wants to do it, so that's totally fine.
Okay, Barbara, where's Barbara at?
I have a business trip coming up, so I wouldn't have the time to.
Sorry,
to
Cassandra,
chair
I
this.
excuse myself from this one.
Natifa. Me and Natifa. Yay. You see
Natifa,
how I
what are your
volunteered
thoughts?
you?
Thank you, thank you.
You see how I volunteered you, Natifa? Please.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Sure.
Awesome.
Thank
There
you.
go.
Thank you.
Sandra, Natifa are going to lead this initiative. We will all be there to support and give our support all the way. Okay. And we'll talk more about location and performances, etc. Discussion of November's CEC calendar meeting. So November is a tricky month. We have to plan from now for the calendar to send it out. Because we have Thanksgiving, we have different things happening on that month. Dorinda, you want to talk about that really quickly about what were the issues in November month? Do you remember that? When we look at the calendar, November month. If you look at the November month, what's happening there?
There's a lot happening. I don't think we can hold our meeting in November. I can send you guys the list of things that's happening to everyone so they have it and we can decide. But there's just Thanksgiving weekend, you know, kids are off, other parent conferences, things like this.
Okay, so what we can do, I see Cassandra hands up. Go ahead, Cassandra. We can table it also for next meeting. And then Natifa. Cassandra and then Natifa. Cassandra's your hand up from last time or this time?
Last time.
Sorry, Natifa,
Maybe
go
it's
ahead.
stuck.
I got you.
I don't see why November is, you know, we had a meeting last time. What happened last time is that Diwali fell on the first one. So we had our calendar meeting because we did not give people enough notice to change that. And then it so happened that the following week, the following Thursday was Veterans Day. Okay, so because our meeting by default is the first Thursday. If we can verify that that is the first Thursday, again, Diwali this year, or what is the conflict on that day? Because basically we have in the past, our precedent is that if it is not a DOE holiday, we work around it, even if it meant that we were tabling the business minutes or so forth, so that
Right,
we would have an
exactly.
abbreviated meeting. So you know, our bylaws, so we like the quarter bylaws, states that we have to have one meeting we have to have a calendar meeting every month. So I don't, it's worked in November.
It's not about not having a
all the
meeting in the
time.
month. We definitely gonna have a meeting that month for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we could always agree and switch it up now. We try to plan ahead. When we look at the calendar before, we don't know exactly what the issue were. There were some issues there, and all of you should be looking at the months that we had our first meeting and see if there's any issues that can conflict with parent conference, religious holidays, so we can accommodate. So just okay. So can we agree to table this? Yes, no?
Sure, and we're waiting for the new school
Yes.
calendar.
Yeah, I mean, we could plan accordingly. Okay, any old business? Going once, going twice. Lou,
Yeah, for the reimbursement thing, I have to raise now. So we talked yesterday, I don't know, a few people were in the check-in. So I think BB made a very good point. We should not wait until the last day to submit all the things that become a little bit too burden. I think some people already finished all their reimbursement form, and a few are not. I'm myself, I so guilty. I sent actually today. So the differentiation is this, right? So today is you know, like we can have one more week for everything you know, before June. So after June's meeting, we have another week to submit the June's, but everything before June, we should submit this this coming week.
Okay.
So you have one more week to submit everything for the past school year, and then we have a June just for one month, you know, expanding, and then we can, you know, I don't know if we need to vote on it or just have a kind of a gentleman, you know, agreement that, you know, you know, verbal agreement that that's the rule we're going to follow. So if you miss, then you're not gonna get money.
is that a bylaw thing? Like we have to change the bylaws about that, or just a DOE thing? That we have to-
I think it's more a practical thing. So basically, you know, we have the June. I forgot the BB said what day I had
She's here.
right
Can
after the June meeting, right? We
Can she
I think
chime in? Can BB chime in? And then Latifa, I'll call you for your hands. BB, you wanna bring up what Lou was talking about and just confirm?
Yeah, I believe the email was sent out by the administrative assistant, just urging everyone, if you have reimbursements that you have incurred, to submit them so that you can be reimbursed in a timely manner before the fiscal year is come to an end, right? So once the fiscal year comes to an end, it's going to be very difficult for you all to be reimbursed. That being said, you need to allow time for the reimbursements to be issued, right? Administratively, it is quite a process. For you to submit 12 months of reimbursement on the last week when the budget will be closing.
Okay.
So I think in essence, what Lou is saying is that folks have reimbursements that they would like to, expenses they would like to submit for reimbursements from July of 2021 and have not done so yet. And it will not be, I guess, feasible to submit those reimbursements first and second week in June and expect to be reimbursed from this year's budget. And the treasurer is saying that if this happens next year, the council will probably need to vote on that current budget for the other year to pay for this year, if the needs are not met for you to be reimbursed.
Thank you. Lou, anything to add so we can move to Latifa?
Yeah, I'm just saying, we're not going to have
Thank you,
the previous situation that some people will leave the council, etc. So we will be the same council. So we can all agree here that one more week for every month before June, and then leave June, after the meeting, and that's it. We're not going to, reimburse, for next year. We're not going to do that, like in the next year's budget. We're not leave any money for this year's events. So if you have something submit, quickly, then that's it.
Consider this your warning.
I'm just,
Lou, thank
it's
you for
kind of
doing an
like
amazing job. Everyone, this is fair warning. A lot of emails were sent, a lot of messages were sent. Lou has been forever in the meetings. Please be responsible and help him help you. Latifa, Lewis. You forgot?
We also, so it came up in the calendar meeting a little bit. The internet as promised, and I know we promised to follow up with that.
Right.
I was just also having a suggestion, since we do have 2 borough president appointees, perhaps they should reach out on the council's behalf, because that is their sponsor.
Hey.
They're representing the borough.
You
borough
got it,
president
Latifa.
on here.
I will
So,
personally do that.
they should take that on, because one of the concerns that we have is that our July meeting, if there is no change, well, Senator Lou indicated that there may be some things, but it doesn't really apply to us. It applies to the parents or so forth. So if there is no change to that and we have to be in there, we have to make alternative motions.
Yep.
But if we can get onto them for that, that's one way that we can help resolve that. And I had also kind of wanted to piggyback off of what Lou was saying. I know that I was a little bit initially taken aback, like last year when we had to allocate money from this year for the previous year, and it's because of the same situation that we're obviously going through. Is it possible to even like make a motion to indicate that we're not going to do that? Because it's not in this year, we're the same council, yes, but I don't think it's fair to it's never fair to the incoming council. At that point, like I've been as delinquent as well, but there's sometimes like if you don't do certain things in time, you lose it. It's your loss. It means you didn't want it enough.
I agree. Is there any reason why we can't make a motion for that? No? Okay, so you want to make the motion, Latifa? Go ahead.
Make a motion to how do I word it? That no prior year, none of this year's prior reimbursements will be carried over to next year's budget. That any unfulfilled reimbursements for this year would not be taken out of next year's budget if not put on time.
Okay, I second that.
I third that.
Okay, can we do a vote, please? Latifa, go ahead and call the vote.
Okay. First Vice President Barbara Williams.
Yay.
A second Vice President Ted Chang.
Sorry, could someone just clarify what that means? Are we saying that if someone wants to get reimbursed and hasn't gotten reimbursed, that they're not going to get reimbursed? I'm just trying to understand, is that what the motion is?
Yes, if they do not, if Lou just gave some deadlines, he said that any prior months need to be submitted within the next week, and June by the end of any prior months up to today needs to be submitted in this week, and June by the Monday after that. If members have not submitted it by that deadline, they cannot claim for it in August, September, whatever it is, because if they do claim for it in that time, it doesn't come out of this year's budget, it comes out of next year's budget, and we start again with the deficit.
Evie, are you trying to speak? You have your hand raised.
Oh, that was prior. That was prior before the motion. So carry
okay.
on.
I abstain. I have no opinion.
Okay. Treasurer Luzau.
Yes.
Recording Secretary Latifa Lewis. Yes. Member Nancy Lugacy has dropped off. So. Member Cassandra Alexander.
Will they be able to reimburse me for being so beautiful?
That comes off of a different line.
Okay, okay, okay. I-
So is
You
that a
miss
yes?
you.
I second that. Yeah, I agree.
All right, Shalisa Dean, member Shalisa Dean,
That's fine.
member Rajwinder Kaur. Member Rajwinder Kaur.
A thumbs is up.
Okay, so that's a yes. Member Elena Amenova,
Yes, please.
member Simone Donbar.
Yes.
Okay, so the motion
didn't vote.
passes.
I
Oh,
didn't
I'm
vote.
sorry. President VJ Ramjatan.
I give my funds to Cassandra.
We'll
Thank
take it,
you,
we'll
thank
take it.
you.
Yes.
We have
Me
been
and
invited
BB
now.
me and BB will take it. We'll take it.
All right, so
Thank you.
that's
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the vote passes with 9 votes, 1 abstention, 1 abstention, and 1 absence.
And just to remind everyone, that means please let's have an issue. We voted. Please, if you don't know how to apply for your reimbursements, if you don't know all this stuff, reach out to your treasurer, ask him, reach out to the AA, Dorinda. They have sent out many notices and tutorials and offer their services. We want to make sure you get reimbursed. Please help us help you. Maybe you had your hand up. Then we're gonna close off.
Yes, I just wanted to give a big shout out to Lou and your administrative assistant for really working diligently and getting your reimbursements done.
Awesome.
Thank you, President Ramjatan, for submitting yours, and Barbara Williams, Vice President, you're quite welcome, and I hope you're getting monies back for expenses you've put out. And
I will
Elena.
submit it too.
Yes, Elena, I was going to say that, but most of all, I want to thank Lou, right? Because this is not easy. When you send your reimbursements, Lou have to download all those forms. He has to review them. He has to sign off on them, and then he has to send them to VJ for VJ to sign off. Now, both of these gentlemen have jobs. So it takes time out of their, daily lives to do this. And so when they delay the process because they're working, it delays it for us to approve it. Right? So please be diligent and submit in a timely manner, and you will get your monies. We want to make sure that you get the money. Okay?
Cassandra, yours is approved. Okay, ahead of time, so you can plan your situation.
Thank you.
Okay, folks. Any new business? Going once, going twice. Barbara.
Thank you. My allergies is beating the crap out of me.
My kids too.
Yeah. I just have one. It's not a new business. It's just a statement that I have to make. I'm on this council. I joined this council not to view my own opinions. I'm not a politician. I'm a philanthropist. I'm a mother, a concerned parent that's fighting for education for all. And we're a council. This is CEC28, not Barbara 28 or VJ's 28 or Natifa's 28. We're a group. We are together. What had happened with going to the mayoral announcement on GNT, I know my views on GNT. Maybe some people don't agree with my views. Some of the opinions in that view is mine, because I don't think it's up to par, and I suggest, and I make my I make my opinions based off of that. I'm just saying, I really would have been nice if I was asked if I wanted to go, and let me say no, I didn't want to go. There was no email sent out. If something was sent to our president, it maybe says president, but I think it should be shared for future reference with the council members, so we could decide if we want to do something or not. And as the first vice president, I think I should have been asked if I wanted to go, and that let me say no. Not that I'm special than anybody or I should be asked before anybody else, but I just figure I should have been asked, and I did not see an email that was sent out. Did anyone want to go? I'm sure Natifa maybe would have want to be there, maybe Ted, maybe somebody else, but it was not done.
I agree.
it was not done in that way. And I feel like there's not, I bite my tongue. I can't find the word that I'm trying. Transparency within this council at this point in time. And I just feel like I had to say something. And I'm sorry, VJ, I could not pull you to the side to say to you, I wanted all the council members to hear this. And that's the reason why I'm saying openly that if there is something we should be asked, do you want to go? Maybe send an email out saying, you know, this event is happening and does anyone else want to come? Instead of you just making the decision and going, you and Elena, I did not agree with that and I felt some type of way. So I unapologetically, I'm saying it, I'm not apologizing for what I'm saying. This is how I feel and this is my opinion, not the opinion of the community. And as a council member, with what 11 other members, I just feel like we need to, for future reference of whoever else is going to be the president, we need to be transparent and be open, and not because something has an email that says president, maybe there's some meeting that says president that they require the president to go. But if it says CEC28 and they address it because you're the president, we should know. So in case if we want to go, we at least we are asked if we want to go and let us say no. Because if you offered me something and I don't accept it, then I don't have a say in what happened than if I was not asked. Maybe I'm hungry and you didn't ask me, can I feed you? And then I could go away and say I was not fed. But if you offered it to me and I said I don't eat from people, then that's my opinion and I have nothing else to say. And I'm not sure if my counterparts agree with me. And like I said, I'm speaking as myself. I'm not speaking for anyone else or on behalf of anybody. And I have my own opinion and nobody have to tell me what to say or to change my mind when I feel like changing my mind. And nobody has to agree with what I'm saying. Sometimes people just don't agree and everybody have their own opinion. And this is how I feel at this point in time. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. I want one point of clarification. So I was asked as a parent. I don't know how Elena wasn't asked or not, but this was not a council ask. I was asked not as a president of CEC28, but as a parent to go to that event. So there was no email sent to CEC28. There was no email sent to President Ramjatin to attend that media release about G&T. I was asked as a parent to attend. Hence, there was no emails to no one. Hence, there was no follow-up email to the council to say who wants to go, because I wasn't in any authority to bring anyone else. I was invited as a personal private citizen to go there, and I went and I represented myself as such, as a parent, not on behalf of the council. So Barbara, I hear you loud and clear. I agree with you, but
understood.
This was not something that was done like that, the way that you're saying. So that's clear. That wasn't that. None of you, if you wasn't called, don't blame me. If you wasn't asked, don't ask me. I don't know. So,
and like I said, VJ, if you don't ask, you don't know. So
yeah,
I put my point out there. So I'm getting my
100%.
And and that's just basically what it is.
No worries. Cassandra, then Elena.
Well, thank you for clearing. Let me show my face. Thank you. Thank you. You see, I got you smiling, Barbara. Hi, BB. But no, thank you for clearing that up, because sometimes when you don't know, you have to ask questions. And when it's no clarity about a situation, because when it was brought up, I was kind of confused either way, because I didn't know what it was or whatever, so I really didn't care one way or the other. But now that Barbara said something and you mentioned and you cleared it up, that makes things better, and you can move forward from there, because you were asked as a parent, not a council member. So no other council members would have got an invite because it was as a parent. That's just like my friend Eric calling me the mayor, Eric Adams, to say, Cassandra, oh, remember the old days when we went to, when I was an instructor at the police department, you want to go have lunch? I'm not going to invite the council members because it's not a council member thing, unless he says you can invite some of your friends. And if you happen to be
Correct.
council members, fine. So I get it. So I don't feel any kind of way because you clarified it. And that's all what sometimes people need is clarification.
100%. Thank you. Elena? Then Latifa?
No, no comment on my end. Yeah, I was asked as to attend as a parent as well. There was no email from me either.
Latifa?
You know, understood, and VJ, it does, you know, you can see both sides of it. There are spaces that sometimes, you know, I myself end up in from one thing not to another. The one caveat I would say is, even though you didn't you know, invite it because that wasn't the role you were asked in, because it is something that is education related, and Barbara has done that before. Other people have done that before, like when there was a groundbreaking ceremony and she was
Right.
invited on behalf of that. You could have, like, you know, maybe just say, you know, hey, I had the opportunity to go in there or whatnot, because sometimes it's not about the ask, as I said. It's sometimes just like, wait, was this something that we knew about or didn't know about? So like, even just saying, you know, I had the honor to attend this as a parent because this is a hot topic. It was a topic on our meeting today. So it's something that council members have varying views on, but that comes up as council business. So
Makes sense.
even though you represented yourself, you know, even if you're going as a private citizen, and that's why sometimes, yes, the clarification that I'm doing this as a parent or as a individual, the fact is you are also seen as part of the face of CEC.
Makes
So at
sense.
least letting the members know is just good press.
I agree with you. I think that's one learning point. What could do is like because I am who I am, right? If it will come off that I'm representing certain groups or certain bodies, and then you may feel like, well, how come I didn't know about that? So I totally get that, and I totally that this could be one point of improvement. Thank you so much, Latifa. Cassandra's your hand up from before for a new topic.
I think your button is stuck because my hand, it must be stuck on the screen.
No, I just lowered it. Okay, so
I just want to say one thing, VJ. Thank you very much for your clarification. You know how I feel about you.
Of course.
And the respect that I have for you and Latifa. But like I said, if you don't know, you don't know. And if you don't ask, you don't know. So I got my answer, and my heart is down and I feel better.
Oh, listen, always come to me, all of you, any of you. We have to talk, we have to communicate, right? And then that's how we move forward, that's how we move in a better direction. So I thank you for bringing it up, Barbara. Okay.
One more thing.
Okay.
As you had left our meeting on yesterday, I had asked, and there wasn't a lot of council members there, and the ones that were there agreed with me. I think that I know we can't spend council money on you know, plaques and gifts or stuff like that for DOE employees, but I think CEC should come up with, if it's even a card or a little note that we write to Principal Mims, and you know we said it tonight, you know, that we you know, congratulate him and appreciate, but I think there's something that us as CEC education community council should do something, you know, probably drop a little note or something. We can't spend money on it, but there's other ideas that we could come up with. And you know, just putting it out there to see how everyone else think, and you know.
I have some ideas about how we can all maybe contribute something towards a plaque or a little something. I know this company I work really closely with, and they're not too expensive, but I think it's a great idea, great thoughts, great idea. Him and the other principal too, or just him?
To be honest, I didn't know about the other principal. I got the news about him, so I didn't, you know, it was maybe we could involve both of them. What?
That's the only thing I want to make sure is like if we give one and we have to give, you know, like if we have to, or we say, if we give one from the CEC, I think if it's a personal something that's different, right? And then we say This is from us, whatever it is. But let's talk offline about ideas. Let's go back and forth with ideas, and then we could throw a text out to the group and see what we think.
Yeah,
that
it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt to do something for both of them.
I agree. Count me in. Okay, anything else? So now it's 10:45. Yes, we're good now? Okay, the time now is 10:45 p.m. We had a wonderful meeting today, a lot we covered, and you all were amazing. Thank you for sticking around. Once a month we do this. That's why we're so close. We're good. All right, so thank you all so much. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you so much.